Okay, so this is how it's been done. There are two options. Either you apply to the school directly without considering yourself for a scholarship. But if you want to consider yourself for a scholarship, they have a designated website, Hungarian like stipendium, something website. Once you use that website, then it means that you want to go through the scholarship procedure. That is where you need to get an admission from your home country before the school even contacts you. If you don't get nomination from your home country, the school will not even contact you. So there are two options. Either you want to go as independent person, you apply to the school, which people do. Once you have the money to fund that, like the school is always there. But if you want to go through the bilateral scholarship, and that one you need to use that designated website. So I think one key thing I'll tell them that everyone has his own story. You might not use the same means like I did, but the most important thing is to have a goal and a plan. What you want to do. You need to plan very well, because I'm sure, like you've interviewed a lot of people, everyone has his own story. You can pick advice from each of the story and then come out with a clear plan. What do you want to do? At a point in time, I need to reject schools in China, admission in Germany, UK and all, because I knew what I wanted to do. It won't come so easily. Don't always look out or think that your life will be the same like someone. No. You need to plan your life in such a way that you are the master of the plan. Like you know when to move, when to stay.
Hi, I welcome you to another episode of the Study Abroad Unfiltered with Mana Inspire. I believe the previous episodes have been informative and educative, and you've learned some experiences and taken some lessons from our guests who shared their in-depth experiences with us. So today I have another interesting episode for you. I have a great guy here with me whose journey is inspiring, and I believe what he's going to share with us today is going to motivate you and inspire you with regards to your study abroad journey. So I'll call upon my guest to introduce himself and give us a little background introduction so that we delve into the details of our conversation today. You are welcome.
Thank you, Manasseh. My name is Raymond. Manasseh happens to be my friend back in University of Ghana. We're in the same room. Remember 2011, Alex Capon Hall. So I've known him for years. So it's a great honor to accept his invitation and just to share my study abroad experience with you guys so that this will inspire someone in the future.
Definitely. And we thank you for accepting our invitation. We are grateful. I remember the early days in Kapon. It was an interesting one, quite a journey. We thank God for life and how far He's brought us. Okay, so can you give us a little background what you were doing before even your decision to study abroad and all that?
Okay, so with my background, let me talk about my educational background.
Exactly.
I did my bachelor's in Ghana, like precisely University of Ghana, where I read economics. From there, I worked for almost 5 years before I decided to go outside the country and have my master's degree. So with my master's degree, like the journey has been long, because right after school, whilst I was working, I was looking at various areas that I can do my master's. The decision to even stay in Ghana and do my master's or travel outside the country was something I was battling with. So I need to talk to one or two people to ask for their opinion, also to see if it's something that aligns with my personal goals. So I started the journey in 2017 where I applied for schools in China. I had admission in China in 2017. But when the admission came in, I spoke to my direct boss, who was more like a mentor at that time. Spoke to me with my decision to quit job and go to China to do my master's. And he gave me some good advice. He would advise that I should look at somewhere in Europe. So based on my calculation, I think that was the right thing for me to do. I just have to let that one slide. 18, I continue again. I applied for a school in Germany where I had admission again. But at that time, I didn't know that Germany, even that time, the tuition was free. I know even currently it's still free, but you need to open a block, which was around 5,000, 6,000 euros that time. Yeah, that was equivalent almost to 40,000 Ghana cedis. But hey, I didn't have that money even to open that block account, so I need to let the opportunity to have to slide. 19, I started again where I also applied for school in Hungary, which was more of a scholarship, a bilateral agreement between the government of Ghana and the Hungarian government. So I went through this process, and then 2020, hopefully I had an admission to study in Hungary doing my master's here.
That's quite a journey. Interesting and impressive journey, I must say. All boiled down to determination, being determined to pursue the dream. So walk us through the application process for the Hungarian masters and the scholarship, especially.
Yeah, so this is a bilateral agreement between the Hungarian government and the Ghana government. I think they do this every year. So every year, the Hungarian government give a student from Ghana opportunity to come and study on a free scholarship here. So normally the admission process starts somewhere November 15th every year, where you need to put in the application. You have the opportunity to choose 2 schools that you want to study in Hungary based on your course and based on something that align with your course. So I chose Corvinus University. I don't remember the second university. After the application, after 2 to 3 months, I had a call from the Ghana scholarship secretariat to come for interview. That was so the interview was it was okay, ask general questions. Why do you want to study in Hungary, the courses and all those things. So from there, I was successful through that interview. Then I had an email from the Hungarian schools that, hey, they have received my application from the Ghana government that I've been selected to continue with this process. So the next step was to have an exams with the schools. So I had exams with all these 2 schools that I selected, Corvinus and the other university. God being so good, I passed all the exams. So all the 2 schools gave me admission. So it is up to me to choose, whether to go to Corvinus or go to other university. So per my research, since Corvinus was in Budapest, that was their capital. Most of the courses that they were doing aligned with what I want to do. I chose Corvinus. Fast forward 2020, I moved from Ghana to Hungary.
Okay. So we want to know, do they have a dedicated platform where you do the application, or you do the application through the school? Do you do it through the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, or how do you put in the application?
Yeah, they have a designated website that is used for that. I think, if I remember, Hungarian scholarship or something. They have a website where you go there. They have all the Hungarian schools. They're listed there. You go there and apply. I think they have a dedicated website. I can check and get that website. Yeah.
Okay, so do you do the application directly to the school and automatically it comes with a scholarship, or you have to apply for the school and apply for the scholarship separately?
Okay, so this is how it's been done. There are 2 options. Either you apply to the school directly without considering yourself for a scholarship. But if you want to consider yourself for a scholarship, they have a designated website, Hungarian stipendium, something website. Once you use that website, then it means that you want to go through the scholarship procedure. That is where you need to get an admission from your home country before the school even contacts you. If you don't get nomination from your home country, the school will not even contact you. So there are 2 options. Either you want to go as independent person, you apply to the school, which people do. Once you have the money to fund that, the school is always there. But if you want to go through the bilateral scholarship, and that one you need to use that designated website.
Okay, so yours was in 2019 into 2020. Are you aware it is still in progress? Are they still doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's still in existence. So if you are watching and you are interested in exploring this option, you can Google is your friend. You can Google it, do some research on it, then you do the application.
Called Stipendium Hungarian. Yeah, so if anybody want to check.
We will check out and probably put the websites in the link to the video when we upload this video. So now we have done the interview with the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. The school has given you the message that, okay, we have accepted, you've done the exams, you've passed, you selected your school. What was the next thing you were supposed to do?
So the next thing is to get ready and prepare to move outside the country, and then just go and study. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So the scholarship was a fully funded scholarship. You didn't pay anything?
No, I didn't. Nothing. I don't pay anything.
Did it come with stipends?
Yeah, it came with a monthly stipend and even accommodation.
So fully everything
Yeah,
free.
fully.
That's interesting. How about your flight ticket?
The flight ticket was fully funded.
So from
Yeah, it was fully
from
funded.
your application through to everything that you do, accommodation fully funded. That's
Yeah, that's
impressive.
fully funded. Yeah.
That is
They do give
impressive.
you with the accommodation, let me clarify. Like they have a cap.
Uh-huh.
Let's assume that they are saying like they are giving you $400 for your accommodation. You can
Every
decide
month.
to monthly. You can decide to take the $400 and maybe if you want to get a better place, then you want to top
Uh-huh.
it up. That is fine. But if you want to stick to the maybe 400,000, they have a place for you for that. They don't have to even pay you. They're going to use that money to pay.
Pay for you directly.
So for me, I thought of getting my own place. So I took those money and then need to top it up and get
Pap.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay. And that is totally different from the monthly stipends that you were receiving.
Yeah.
And how much was the monthly stipends, if you remember?
I think that was 43,000 forints. You know, that is a Hungarian the currency, 43,000
Currency.
forints. Yeah, as at that time, that was almost close to, is it $1,000? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time, that was close to $1,000, yeah, every month.
So it was enough to cater for your basic needs because obviously your accommodation has been paid for.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it all depends, right?
Uh-huh.
It all depends on your spending pattern, right? Some people
Uh-huh.
would love to spend more, some people would like to spend within their means. But ideally, the 43,000 was something manageable. You could, I
That
mean, if you don't want to be a spendthrift, you should be able to manage that money.
to be okay. All right, interesting. So now you are in Hungary. How was education? How was the education system in Hungary?
Yeah, I think I went to Hungary during the COVID period. That was 2020.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
tough season where there was a lockdown, even like the country was in a partial lockdown. So what they do is that I think you are allowed to go out from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah, buses and shuttles were working, and, like the tram and everything was working. But I know it was a purely lockdown season, so the human interaction wasn't there like that. And most people in Hungary, I think most people in Hungary are lovely people. They are welcoming. That was my first experience. I mean, it was lovely. I mean, looking at the country, how developed they were. So for me, it was a nice experience. Just that I wish they were not in lockdown because lockdown things were not opening up a little bit. Later on, after the lockdown, I saw how beautiful and how nice the place was.
Okay. Okay. So it means that you were doing classes online as at the time you
Yes,
went, right?
after that time, yes.
How many years was your course? Were you
It was
supposed
for
to
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
years? Okay, so probably by 2021, the COVID
2022. Yeah,
had
okay,
gone
2022.
down, and 2022, the COVID had gone down, so you could go to class physically, right?
Yeah,
And
perfect.
how was that experience? Were there a lot of blacks in your class, or you were the only one, or were there other Ghanaians?
I think in my class we had 5 blacks. I was the only one from
Okay,
Ghana, 2 from Nigeria. Is it 2? Like 3 from Nigeria and 1 from Kenya.
okay,
So we had 5 blacks in my class. Yeah.
okay. Then I think it was you were able to cope. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and how were you? Was your hostel far from the campus where you were living? And how were you commuting to school?
Okay. Anybody who has been in Europe would attest to the fact that one of the places with transportation system laid down in a good manner was Europe. Hungary,
Mm,
I didn't have to struggle. All I have to do was to just pick a bus, wait for a bus, and go to school. Either a bus or
mm.
either go with a tram or either go with a train. So that was cool. I think from my place to the campus was just 4 stops, less than 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay, that is that is nice. Okay, so knowing that you were given a fully funded scholarship with the monthly stipends and your accommodation was paid for, were you still permitted to work?
Yes.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how long
So
or how many hours were you
I think
supposed
we
to
didn't
work?
have a cap. I'm not sure like they had a cap. At that time, if I remember correctly, I was working with GE. GE, that is like General like electric, yeah, as a payroll analyst as at that time, whilst
Uh-huh.
I was schooling. Because I was an intern, I was working, is it 25 hours a week? Yeah, 25 hours a week, yeah.
Okay.
But I knew people who were doing other jobs that they do more hours, yeah. It is
Who
up
were
to you.
students.
Yeah, yeah, it's up to you.
And what language do they speak in Hungary?
Hungarian.
So, what is the official language? Were you working?
Hungarian.
So, were you speaking English at the workplace, or were supposed to learn the Hungarian language?
Okay, like the good thing is that most Hungarians are able to speak English. English is more like a second language like to them. But let me add this to it. The scholarship, you are forced to learn Hungarian for 1 full year. You need to write an
Okay.
exam and pass. If you fail in the Hungarian course, your stipend will be cancelled.
Mm.
Yes.
So by the time you were done with the 2 years, you could speak, you could communicate
I
a
mean, like
little
the
bit.
basic ones, yeah, exactly.
The
Because
basic, yeah.
yeah, because like I need to write an exams and oral exams, yeah. So we need like the basic ones. Like you should be able to speak.
Okay. Okay. That's impressive. Okay. So now you were done with your 2 years program. Though the fees was fully funded, were you aware of the amount that you were supposed to pay for the school fees had it not been the scholarship?
Honestly, no.
You didn't even check because
Recently, where I wanted
Mhm.
to help a friend to get a school in Hungary, that's where I started checking. No, and I just noticed that like they are paying almost 4,000 euros a semester. That is even some of the cheap courses. Some are paying as much as 8,000 euros a
For a
semester.
year or a semester?
A semester. A semester.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it easy finding a student job?
Because it was a COVID era, I would say no.
Okay. So in your case,
Because
it was not easy.
most companies as at that time are not even in full operation, right? Things have
Yeah,
calmed
they were
down. The
folding out.
economy was down, everything. So it wasn't easy. After COVID era, I might not be able to speak to it, but those who were there before the COVID said it was quite easy to get a student job.
To
Yeah.
get a student's job. Okay. Now you were done with your school. Which year did you finish the master's program?
2022 July. Yes.
Okay. When you finished, was there a way for you to integrate into their system to get a permanent residence, or was there any form or get maybe a provisional stay or something like that? Because I know for some countries, for instance, in France, when you finish a master's degree, you are given 1 year to look for a job. In other countries, you are given 2 years to look for a job. And once you find a job, then you can, based on your contract, they can extend it for you to probably rise towards a permanent resident. How was the situation in Hungary?
Okay, so I had opportunity to do internship right from 2021 with G, as I said. So right after the internship, G wanted to employ me on full time.
Okay.
So with that, according to the Hungarian government or according to the Hungarian immigration system, once you are done with school, we have employment seeking visa. That is for 9 months. They'll give you this visa
Okay.
to seek for a job. The validity is for 9 months. Within the nine
right.
months, you need to get a job. If you don't get a job, you then hopefully, probably need to leave the country. But at that
Okay.
time, your resident permit would have expired, right?
Uh-huh.
And when you get a job, company also has the right also to give you a work permit. That one most of the
Okay.
time is for 2 years, and later on they can extend it to a number of years. So I had a job, I accepted the offer. They started working on my work permit. I had a 2 years work permit. That is when I decided to look somewhere else.
Okay. So was the job supposed to be directly related to your cost of study, or you could have used any other job to get that 2 years visa?
Okay, so on paper it should be related. I was fortunate to get a job that was related to what I studied in school. On paper, it should be related, but hey, people also find ways to also to get a job.
So once you have the job, even
Yeah.
even if it is not related to what you studied, you could still
Get your 2 years, yes.
get the 2 years.
It's up to the company to prove why they should employ
They
you.
want to hire you. All right. Very good. So all in all, would you advise somebody to explore the Hungary educational system and especially the scholarship scheme?
Absolutely, yes. The reason being that for me, it was one of my best period in life from the period of 2020 to 2022, because I got opportunity to see a lot of things for myself, opportunity to integrate into the European system, opportunity to travel to several countries in Europe. where I got to understand how they do their things, how they think, and also to shape me for the future. So I would say once you get opportunity to study anywhere, not just in Hungary, weigh the options, and if it's something that comes of benefit, just do that.
Okay. So before we move on to the next opportunity you explored, let me take you back a little. You mentioned that if you were supposed to, the government was giving you 400 euro for the accommodation,
Yeah.
and if you
That was
wanted
just
a better
a figure
place.
that, I mean, it's not that I don't really I remember the exact figure, but that was
Okay,
just the figure.
okay, okay. So I wanted to ask that, do you remember how much you were supposed to pay for an accommodation, like a manageable accommodation for a month? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. Manageable accommodations at that time. If you want a student hostel, those ones were quite cheap. Those ones,
Okay.
some were even low as 30,000 foreign, 30,000, 40,000 foreign. But if you
Which
want a
is how much
house,
in
that time
euro
was
or
saying
dollar?
it should be around, is it 100 euro? I think 100
Okay.
euro. Yeah. Those, I mean, that time, 30,000, you could get a student hostel to live in. That is fine. Yeah. But if you want a, a good place, maybe you want something like your own place. But for instance, when I was in my final year, 2022, I was living in my own room, which room I had
Okay.
a self-contained. I was paying almost 120,000 forints as at that time. That was almost
Okay.
3 times the amount I am receiving.
Okay. So that should be around, let's say, 60 euro
Yes.
or 500 euro
I
thereabouts.
think 350, like 400 would after that time. Yeah. Yes. Everything would depend on what you want to. But if you are coming as someone who just came into the system and you don't have a lot of money, then that one I would say you could still like, rely on the accommodation money. But because I was working, I was getting other source of income. I was able to get something comfortable for myself.
Okay, very good. How would you describe the cost of living and standard of living in Hungary during your time and your stay there?
My time, for me, it was affordable, especially food. Food was very cheap. Yeah, food was very, very cheap because once you go to the groceries, Aldi shop, and yeah, even with little as 10,000 foreign, you could able to get a lot of things like to the house. So it was quite manageable. Yeah, I think so. Food was, and then like transportation, the whole year, like the whole month, I was paying I think 3,450 for rent for my ticket. That's a bus ticket, right? That's for the whole month. That was a discount ticket. That time, that money was almost equivalent to, is it $30? Is it even $30? I
Okay.
don't even. Yeah, like for the whole month.
Probably a bit lower. Okay.
Yeah, a bit lower,
That was
yes.
okay.
So it means once you have the monthly ticket, you can move to any place. So comparing that and my accommodations at that time was also okay. Food, I don't really spend much on food. So during those periods, I think it was manageable as compared to where I was coming from. And that is even yeah.
Interesting. So, all in all, how much do you think how much were you spending in a month?
Yeah. Rent, food and everything, roughly 90,000 forints. 90 to 80,000 for 90,
Which
80,000
would be
for
around how much in euro,
that should
if
be
you can do the
around
conversion?
that time. I'm going for it. What do I even remember the conversion? I don't even honestly I don't want to give any wrong figure. But I think it
Wrong
should be
figure.
around $300 to $400, 500. I mean, something like that. And the good thing is that you see, it is always good. When I went to Hungary, we went in a group, right? Those
Okay.
from Ghana went in a group. So we started building a small family among ourselves, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
we were three in a room. No, three in an apartment, put that way.
Okay.
It was a 3 bedroom apartment. All that we do was to share like the whole area
The
and the
common
kitchen.
place. Yeah.
So
Okay.
we are all guys. We all understood that hey, we are here to study, and our certain things might not be like how we want it. So we need to find way to manage things. So what we are doing was to monthly like contribute and then go in and buy the foodstuffs. So things were quite
Okay.
cheaper. So it all depends on how you're able to manage. I mean, if you're not fortunate and you personally, maybe you have to live alone, things might be a little
Yeah.
bit expensive for you. But because like we are buying things in bulk, because we are living as a family, things were quite a little bit cheaper for us. Yeah.
Interesting. Now you are done with Hungary. What was the next opportunity you explored? And why?
Okay, after my master's degree in Hungary, okay, well, I had options either to stay and work or
Okay.
to go back to Ghana or to do something else with my life. But before that, I have traveled to several countries in Europe. I was just doing this just to look at how the system, just to look out for my next plan.
Okay. Okay.
I've gone to stay in Germany for 3 months, gotten to know their system a little bit.
Okay.
Compared to Hungary, do I want to leave to Germany or do I want to stay in Hungary? Because at that time, I was having a family in Hungary, in Germany, so I could have just moved to here. The next option is that if I don't want Europe,
Okay.
this thought came. I was thinking either to go to English-speaking country because of language. So I was thinking either to go to UK, Canada, or the US.
Okay.
So I applied for schools in UK, Canada, and US.
All right.
I had a school in UK, I had a school in US. Canada gave me admission but with no funding. So I had these 3 options. The next thing I did was to sit down and weigh these options. Do I still want to go back to school, accept the job offer, and live in Hungary? What is the next plan in the next 5 years?
Okay.
So after doing all this, I thought, okay, then let me take this bold step and go back to school. That is where, among all these 3 admissions, I chose the US admission.
Okay. And walk us through the application process of the US school.
Process, just have to apply to the university, apply to the courses, pay your admission fee, and then wait for the decision to be made.
And what school are we talking about?
I did
in which
2 different applications, one at Empire State University, and there's one New Mexico University.
In what state? And was it a fully funded program?
It was a partial funding.
Okay, so does it mean you went to do another master's?
Yes.
In what? Because you had done master's in economics, or?
Yeah. So this was master's in informatics. My concentration was in economics. But this time around, I was looking at the quantitative part of economics.
Okay. How much was the school fees and how much was your partial scholarship?
I think when I received my I-20, the fees and everything was totally, I think, almost 26,000. That was including the partial funding. But without a partial funding, I think it should be around $35,000, if that is right. Okay,
so when they took off the partial scholarship, you were supposed to pay 26,000. Okay, I get it. People say schools in United States have expensive tuition fee. Do you agree to that? Comparing to
comparatively
Hungary and other places that
yes,
you know. Because 35,000 and 26,000, with the scholarship coming down 26,000 seems quite a lot for me.
Yeah, of course, that's a lot of money. But I mean, if you compare that to Europe, Europe is always cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And the school that you applied to UK, did you receive admission? And
yes,
are you aware of how much you were supposed to pay?
That was, I think, the whole year was almost £16,000. Bristol University, and there was this university, is it Liverpool University? It was around 16 to 18,000 pounds here.
So even comparatively, you would say that the US tuition fee is higher than that of.
No, so the 26,000 is not just for tuition. That is including your living expenses and then your books and everything. So full tuition was almost 14,000. That's the tuition.
14,000.
But others were the living expenses.
Okay, so you would have to have that money in your account.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to have that money in your account.
Okay, very well. You were still in Hungary, so you were supposed to apply for the visa in Hungary, right? Having talked to other people who applied from Ghana, do you think the visa process in Hungary is the same, or can you walk us through that process?
Well, the process, I'm sure, is the same, but maybe the kind of question that they might ask you when you go for the interview might be different. But for the process, it was just the same. Just have to apply for it. Just have to fill your DS 160, book your interview date, and just go for the interview. That's it.
So during the interview, what were the documents they expected you to provide?
Oh, I think what I went was with my 20 bank statement and then my resident permit as at that time in Hungary.
Okay. And the bank statement, was it supposed to be in your name, or it didn't matter if it was somebody sponsoring you and you could present somebody's
name? Yeah. Just have to have a bank statement. That amount.
So provided it has the stated amount, you are good to go.
Yeah.
But I presume you would also have to get what do you call it? A letter from the persons that you
No,
are using the bank statement. Nothing of
no,
that sort.
nothing like that. Yeah, you just have to have the bank
Okay.
statement. So once you go and they ask you whose bank statement, it's up to you to explain to them who that person is to you.
So in your case, did you have your personal bank statement or you added another person's bank statement? And was the person supposed to be a resident in Hungary or it didn't matter?
Yeah, but any country, it doesn't matter whether from Ghana, whether.
Okay. How long did it take for you to get your visa?
So I think my interview was on let's assume that if you go for the interview on Thursday, by Friday, the visa should be ready.
Oh, that's quick. Interesting.
Just 3 days. Yeah.
Unlike European countries that you would have to wait for weeks or months to get your visa. I think the US one, once you are given it doesn't take long. You get
It
the
doesn't take
feedback.
long. Maximum like 3 days, the visa should be
Okay,
ready.
great. So which year are we talking about?
2022, somewhere in August. Yeah.
Okay. So now you have your visa. You have decided to move from Hungary, go to US. Tell us your experience when you moved to US.
It wasn't something new because I've already experienced the system in Europe, the same system, nothing new. You see the good rules and everything. So it was something. It was just, I mean, if I used to come from Ghana, that one be something new. But from Europe, it was something, the same thing, nothing new.
And how many years was your program?
2 years.
That was also 2 years. Okay. And at that time, after paying the first 14,000 thereabouts for your tuition fee, you pay another 14 the second year, right?
So like the good thing about like the US system that you don't have to pay the fees.
Okay.
Just have to come and make sure that a semester you pay the semester fees before the semester. So a semester was roughly around 7,000. So make sure that by the end of the semester you paid your 7,000. What they do here is that you can put it on a payment plan. If I say a payment plan, you can tell them, okay, this semester is for 4. I mean, maybe the semester is going to 4 months. I want to divide my fees into 4. I'm going to pay a month 1,000, 2,002, so that by the end of the semester, I should be able to pay the full amount.
Okay. So it just helps you that you make sure that by the end of the semester, the full amount is paid.
Paid, yes. So
okay, interesting.
You need to have to pay like the 14,000 if I'm known. There's always that a payment plan for you.
Okay, then I think that is a bit relieving. At least it gives you some space to breathe, unlike paying all upfront. I think that is okay because in some other countries, also people that I've had conversations with, they mentioned that they had to pay the fees. The beginning of the program, you had to have your fees paid, and I think there are differences that works in these different countries. Then I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
now, yeah, you are finally in the United States. How was finding accommodation and how much were you paying for accommodation? Knowing that this one was not a fully funded scholarship, you had to pay your accommodation, right?
Yeah, that time I was paying almost $400 for accommodation, but this is per the state, right? Some states are very expensive. So I was paying $400, and I looked through, I mean, Facebook, once you go to Facebook, you can see a lot of apartments available. You can just reach out to the tenant, the landlord, and start having all this time.
So I believe the 400 was for a shared apartment or something like that.
Yeah, it was more like a student hostel, one by one.
Oh, okay. How many were you in the room?
One a room, but just that you're going to share the bathroom and everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's in France they call it colocation, as in you have other people there, but you share the common place like the washroom and the kitchen and the living room, but everybody has a separate bedroom. Okay, interesting. So I presume you were allowed to work, you were permitted to work.
Yeah, but here, like in the US, you can work only on campus.
Oh,
Any
if you're a
work outside
student,
the campus is illegal. Yeah.
okay. And is that
Any
easy
work
finding?
outside the campus? Yeah, any work outside the campus.
And was it easy finding such a job? Like looking at the number of international students?
Well, I might say it's not that easy, but I mean, you can get jobs on a school canteen and school library and those things here. It is not, I mean, it is not easy, and it is not well paying as compared to getting a job outside campus.
But you had to manage because going out means that you are being illegal. How about when school is not in session, like when you're on vacation?
Well,
Could you
if school is not in
work
session and
outside
you want to work outside, like you need to get authorization first.
from the school?
Yeah, from the school.
And how
Yeah.
difficult was it to get that authorization?
So it should be something that has to do like with the course you are studying. I need to register and pay before. Yeah, so it is not easy like that. You need to. It is a
Wow.
tedious process. Yeah.
Interesting, because the dynamics are different in every country. Because in
Every
some
country.
countries, once you are a student, you are permitted to
So you
work.
can
Maybe there's a
work
cap of 20
anywhere.
hours and you can work anywhere. Whatever job you find,
Yeah.
you can work. All right. So did you find a job on campus?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was it okay? And how many hours were you working?
So I was receiving, is it $13 per hour? Okay. And then 20, you need 20 hours a week.
Okay. So would you say it was okay to cater for your basic needs like accommodation and other stuff?
It was just okay for accommodation. Other needs, like, I need to find other ways and means to get money.
Other ways and means to. Then it means that if you are intending to go to United States and living by their laws and rules as a student, you need to have that money in your account.
I need to have at least, I would advise at least have a semester money. Semester
For
fee.
both tuition and
Exactly. Because it will take time for you to integrate into the system, getting to know all the dynamics. It's not easy to come to the US, come this month and get a job the following month. It's going to take time even to get your social security, getting to know the system, if you want to get a driver's license. So most of the time, your first semester is just about integration into the system.
Okay, interesting. How was studies? How often were you going to class?
Okay, so here in the US, every semester I was doing 9 credit hours, 6 in person and 1 online. So I was having 2 courses that I was doing on time. That's an in person and 1 online course. So I was going to class just twice a week and then 1 online class.
So you're doing 3 courses, each for 3 credit hours.
Exactly.
Okay. For all the semesters, or it differs?
So it depends. Ideally, that was supposed to be, but I wanted to graduate early, so I decided to do 4 courses a semester. So instead of me using 3 years to complete, I used 1.5 years to complete my course.
So you had the liberty to do that as well? Was not?
Yeah.
Even if you decided to do, let's say, 5 a semester, you could have graduated earlier than a year, right?
Yeah, but so I understand
or they
that
don't permit that.
you pay for each credit semester. So the more you select, the more your fees
the more
goes
you
up.
have to pay.
Exactly.
So in the US, you pay the fees per course.
Per course. It is per credit charge. So if it's 9 credit hours, and then if each credit hours is 50 by 9, I'm going to pay that. That is just it. So it means if you want to do 12 credit hours per each of the credit hour amount, you need to pay.
Okay.
And then other university basic things that, of course, you have to pay too.
All right. I want to get your view on this one. Having experienced education in Europe, Hungary to be specific, and having experienced one in United States of America, comparatively, what is your view on the quality of education, flexibility, the substance, and everything that has to do with education?
Well, let me just be honest with you. European system is not different from Ghanaian system.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying is that, you know how Ghana Legon, we used to study hard.
Yeah.
You need to read, you need to do a lot of stuff. That is similar to what it was in Europe.
Okay.
When I got to Europe, it was more like coming back to second Legon. You need to study hard.
Okay.
You need to study hard. And here in Europe, I think in Europe, what we're doing that, just do every semester, most of the, this is how their grade was. You're going to have inter a semester, or maybe which we live on, like we call IE, right? Yeah. For every course, that is almost like the middle of the semester in our final exams. Final exams, as at that time, was almost 70%, and then the mid-sem exam was 30%. So it means that if you fail in the mid-sem exams, your likelihood of even getting a good grade in your final exams is quite a bit limited. Here in the US, it's quite different. Class discussion has its own marks. Class assignment has its own marks. project work as its own maths before the final exams. So they've made it in such a way that you're going to accumulate points for each of these, then get you your final grade. So most of the time, even like your final exams can take like 40%, 30%.
Because you had already done 60% with us discussions and assignments.
So that is why I said Europe is more like Ghana. If you fail in the exams and then the midterm exam, that is all. They don't reward for class attendance and those participation. No, they don't do that. You need to pass your midterm exams and pass your exams. So Europe system was more like Ghana.
You
But
had
the
to
US,
sit down and study.
you need to sit down and study.
Were you doing written exams?
Or I was fortunate because it was COVID. It was online exams. Even with the online, it wasn't easy like that. The same like student, but solving different like questions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the as much as possible that you don't have even a way to cheat.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't easy like that. But here in the US, so I just love it. Very flexible.
Flexible, you say. Okay. Great.
But in terms of the quality of education, I would choose here in the US.
All right.
Because most of the time has to be practical and
Practical.
participation. Yeah, so you need to have a discussion. Sometimes to start making sense to you.
So you get involved in whatever you've been taught. It's not as if you go and come back and produce some things you've read. You have to get involved and have a view on what you are actually doing.
Yeah, and even with that, most of the project work that like you do, like they are waiting to hear your view, your opinion. It's not about going to read and put the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
And I believe you do lots of case studies, like to
this every week.
Be able to
every
apply.
week comes with this one like case study that you need
exactly. Exactly. So that you'll be able to apply whatever you have done in real life situation or industry perspectives. All right. Very well. Now, can you walk us through the standard of living in the US in terms of rent and basic necessities?
Okay. So here in the US, it's very broad. I would say it is state specific, right?
Okay.
Some states are very expensive. Some states are very moderate and some states are very low.
Okay.
Kansas
so speak to your situation.
Kansas was part of the moderate states. So you don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to do extra more because things were quite cheaper. Because I was paying rent almost $400. The same kind of room, if you go to somewhere in New York, you're going to pay $900, $1,000. The same rent, the same room. Exactly. So it was quite okay. And a good thing for me is that when I was coming from Europe, I had some savings. So I could depend on my savings a little bit. So normally it wasn't really hard for me. And here in the US, you have access to credit, right? You have a credit card that you always use your credit card and pay later. So it kind of make life a little bit easier as compared to Europe, where you don't have access to credit. Europe, you don't even get access to credit card. Yeah. But here in the US, once you come here with Social Security, you definitely have access to credit.
So on the average, how much do you think you were spending?
As at that time,
in a month,
on average,
as a student,
as a student, the school also had a place that we go in to get food stuff for free.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, most schools here, like in the US, have it. They have a place, I mean, like in the school, just go there to get food stuff for free. So we used to go there to get rice, chicken, and oil, and those things.
Okay.
Food wasn't really a problem. What I need is to get work, get money, and pay my rent. Then the next, and the bigger thing is the fees. I need to find out something, getting fees to pay my fees. But the living condition was normal. It was moderate. Nothing extra.
Interesting. So you were done with your course. A 2 years course that you managed to finish in a year and a half. Great. What was the next step? Were you supposed to find work?
Yeah.
Do you have any visa?
Okay, so here in the US, they've grouped the course. Either you are doing a STEM-related course or non-STEM-related course. If I say STEM-related course, these are the science, technology, engineering, and math courses.
And mathematics.
Right? Yes. So these courses, once you are done with school, you have 3 years to work in the US. It's called OPT.
Okay, they give that to you automatically to look for a job.
No, you would first get 1 year to start without. Once the 1 year is about to end, if your course is a STEM program, they have the opportunity to renew for the next 2 years. But if your
Okay.
course is a non-STEM, after 1 year, it means that you don't have the option again. You have to find a way to integrate into the system, getting a work, or anyhow you're going to find. There are a lot of ways to integrate here in the system.
Other than that, you need to go back.
Other than like to go back to where you're coming from.
So in your case, when you finished, did you find job?
Yes, I did.
Immediately?
So I was fortunate. I had a job before even writing my final paper. So
Okay.
I decided that I want to complete this course a year and a half. Right after a year, that was my last semester, almost 2 months, like to the end of the semester, I started writing my CV. Yeah, the reason they use it called resume. I started writing my resume, making sure that I have a professional resume. So I paid a company like to write my resume for me. I don't remember the name of the company yet. So just give them my experiences and they gave me a good resume, a professional resume. I started searching for a job. And I always go in and apply for several interviews. And then I was fortunate to get a job somewhere in October, but the graduation was somewhere in December. So I had a job 2 months even before my final graduation.
Graduation. In which year is that, 2024 or 2025?
2023. That is where, of course, I had a job and I started in 2024.
Great. That is quite impressive. That is quite impressive. So your program was a STEM program. Is that so?
Yeah, a STEM
because
program.
informatics, I think, has to do with.
Yeah.
So because of that, even you had the liberty to extend for additional 2 years and look for a job. So had it not been that you got a job,
wait, let me. When you apply for the OPT and your card, it's approved.
Okay.
You have 90 days to get a job. 90 days without a job, your OPT becomes invalid. Like you need to move outside the country. So it doesn't mean that you have the full 1 year to search for a job. No.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Anyway.
Yeah. So you can get an OPT and still go out of status if you don't get a job within that period.
Okay. So before you get the OPT, could you still live on your student visa?
No.
Or the moment you finish school?
Once you're done, you are done. Like the service closed some year. Once you are done, your service number is closed. That currently you are done with school. You are now an OPT. That is an OPT. That's an important, yes.
So then you have to go for the
communicate with the immigration. That is a custom. So like they know everything that is happening. Once you're done, you are done. It is either you graduate and still want to go back to school. That is fine. But
okay, so you can graduate and look for another school.
Yeah, that's what yeah. I mean, we know people after their masters want to do their PhD, so they don't have to do OPT. You have to continue. Yeah, that is possible.
Okay, so you have 90 days, and once you go for the OPT after 90 days, you are illegal.
Yeah,
interesting. All in all, how was the job experience in the United States?
It is not for the soft, bro. I need to apply as much as you can.
Yeah. Do you remember how many applications you put in before you finally landed one?
Mine wasn't that much because I started early, so I was a little bit relaxed. I didn't wait for the time to catch me, right? But if you wait for the time to, imagine like being done with school and you have 90 days to get a job. There'll be much pressure on you. Exactly. But I started a way ahead before even graduating. So I wasn't putting much application as compared to someone who time is limited. I think it shouldn't be more than 50. But I know friends who put more than 200 application.
Yes. It's not easy. It's not easy getting a job in these systems. Once you have one, then you must have put in work, like a lot of work to get there. And probably the grace of God also comes in, then it helps you. All right. So once you have a job, you are permitted to extend your stay.
It is not automatically.
Explain. Because now you have a job. So
once you get a job and you are on OPT for 1 year, right? When you are done with the OPT, don't even wait for the OPT to end. It is up to the company to say that we still want to continue to work with you. That is where you can go in and apply for the extension. That is the 2 years more. If your course is the STEM program. If your course is not a STEM program, after 1 year, there's nothing the company can do. You need to leave the job because you're not authorized to work. That is one option. The other is that you want to migrate from your F1 visa, that is the student visa that you came
Okay.
on, and they've given you a work authorization because you're done with the studies. The next option is that you want to get a temporary work visa, which is called the H1B,
Okay.
which is more like a lottery system. Every year, US has a number of temporary work visas that they give out.
Okay.
So a lot of people will apply, over 1 million people will apply, and they will give it to maybe 100,000 people. So it is
Okay.
not automatically that you move from this period, go to no, it doesn't work that way. Here in the US, everything is more of need to put a lot of work, you need to try options here.
So even after you get a job and you've worked with the company and the company is impressed with your work and the company is willing to give you another contract,
Okay.
the immigration will say no?
So this how, if the company, so let's take it this way. If your course is a STEM program, after 1 year, because automatically you are a STEM program, you can extend it for 2 years. That one is automatically. Even that one, you have a chance of like denying if something is not right.
Okay.
Yes. And even that one, let me even clarify. Your company should be e-verified company. Not any company you can even do your 2 years extension with. So e-verified company means that the company should be verified, electronically verified by the US immigration system.
Okay.
Every e-verified company has an e-verified number.
Okay.
So, for instance, I have a company. My company is not e-verified company. Manasseh came to the US to do his master's in informatics. Currently, Manasseh has done his OPT 1 year. I still want to work with Manasseh, but because my company is not e-verified, Manasseh cannot continue to work with me.
Work with you. Okay.
Yes. This is how it works. So you can only do the extension with e-verified company.
That is
But
if your course is a STEM-based one.
A STEM-based one. But for the first year OPT, you can do with any company. It doesn't matter whether the company is e-verified or not. But if after the first year OPT, your course is a STEM-based and then you want to continue with the 2 years, it should be a e-verified company.
Interesting. So in the United States, at what point can you get what they call the green card as a student, international student?
That is a big question. There are a lot of ways, but it doesn't come easy. One of the easiest way is getting married to a US citizen.
Okay.
And then the person file for you because you're a partner. That one. So Manasseh comes to the US, finds a lover who is a US citizen, that person can file for you. Automatically, once the person file for you and get approved, you will become a green card with them.
Okay.
Or secondly, you can go to the employment based. That is where we have the EB1, EB2, EB3. That one is for a next conversation. That one is huge. So, I mean, let me just make that one simple. The EB3 is when you have a company. For instance, my company decide that, hey, I have worked with them for years. They want to file for me as a green card holder. They can file for the EB3. The EB3, it has to go through a channel. It can take almost 4 to 5 years before you even get the green card approved.
Okay.
So there are a lot of channels, but there is no clear path that I move from here, I get this place. No.
Okay. So one last clarification. If you go in as a student, in your case, you did a STEM course, you had a job. So you had that automatic 1 year. But because your program was a STEM program, you had okay. So I was saying that I needed this one last clarification on this permit thing. So my question was that in your case, you are done with school, you had a job, and you had that automatic 1 year renewal permit. But because it was a STEM based, you had a liberty to extend to 2 years. So now once you're on that 2 years visa and your company is willing to work with you, what do you do when that 2 years visa expires?
When the 2 year visa expires, that time, once you go out of status, there's nothing the company can do for you. So since the company want to work with you, they need to start the process early. Yes.
In filing for
go
that
out of
one or EB2 thing.
Exactly. Anyhow the company wants to go, EB3, that is the employment based like the company, having a company as like a sponsor. But you can also take your destiny into your own hands. That is where you can also do the EB2, where you don't need a company to come in and sponsor you. But that one, I need to prove to the US why they should waiver the labor certification for you. You need to give them enough reasons why you are an asset to the US, which
So
is
the
also
job, the,
long, like a long, long procedure you have to follow.
so the job experience that you've had, the contribution that you've made by working for a United States-based company is
That is
not enough.
benefiting you, but not the country. That and that is benefiting the company, not the whole. So you need to prove to the US government that why you are an asset to the US.
But then the reason why you're an asset is that you are working for a company that is paying tax to the United States, and that is not enough.
And the company pays you. Don't they pay you?
Yeah, exactly. But then because you are working and the company is making profits, they are able to pay tax.
Yeah, they see that as just a personal thing, but this is national. Like, you need to give a national. What are you doing that it will benefit the whole nation, US as a country? Like, for instance, I'm saying that I am developing a tool, AI tool, that educational like systems here in the US we use. Even if I am working for a company to develop this tool, this will be of national assets, not
Okay.
just the company.
Okay.
For instance, I am bringing an AI a detector to see all the maybe AI, I mean, all the fraud threats in the health in industry. This is something that if I am able to do it will benefit all the health industry in the US, not just the hospital I am working for.
Okay.
So there should be enough reasons that what do you think you can do to benefit the whole US? So that's called national importance.
Interesting. I think we will probably someday we will get into the
Yeah,
details of that
of how
aspect.
those things work.
Exactly. I just wanted to get a glimpse of how it works comparing to other conversations that I've had with people who can, once getting a job, you can move. For instance, in Canada, once you get a job, you can just move and get your PR or something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a different ballgame. All in all, how would you describe your experience in the United States?
For me, here has been one of the best places I've been, and it will still be the best place. Though I've not stayed in every country, like I don't think any company can offer me something better than here in the US.
You mean the company that you're working with?
No, I'm talking about a country. The country as a whole. The systems, how things have been done. Like US is a very good country. There's no doubt about it. Apart from the immigration system, it's a little bit tedious. You need to
That is difficult. Yeah.
you need to go through a lot of series of things, but it is apart from that the country is well developed, well structured.
Okay. What is your final word or an advice you will give to somebody who wants to explore this same journey?
So I think one key thing I'll tell them that everyone has his own story. You might not use the same means like I did, but the most important thing is to have a goal and a plan. What you want to do. You need to plan very well because I'm sure, like you've interviewed a lot of people, everyone has his own story.
Different
So
story.
you can pick advice from each of the story and then come out with a clear plan. What do you want to do? At a point in time, I need to reject schools in China, admission in Germany, UK and all, because I knew what I wanted to do. It won't come so easily. Don't always look out or think that your life will be the same like someone. No, you need to plan your life in such a way that you are the master of the plan. Like you know when to move, when to stay.
Okay.
Yeah, because this journey can be tedious. You need to be self-motivated. Times it's not easy. Anybody who has moved on this journey will tell you that it is not easy to study outside the home country. You need to be mentally fit, you need to be physically. But there's no mother, there's no father, there's nobody there even to take care of you. You need to motivate yourself every day and now to keep going. And the struggles will come, if you like it or not. It will come. Sometimes, and you feel like even throwing the towel, but I need to keep moving. Yeah, I need to keep moving. And once you get opportunity to come here, make sure that you have the good friends. Make sure that you always work with people who have been in the system for who knows where to go if you are in a situation. Because here in the country that there is no excuse that I didn't know. You need to make sure that everything that you are doing is legal. Once ignorance is not an excuse here.
An excuse,
It's not an excuse here in any developed country. If you find yourself to be in a situation that you don't understand, seek for clarification.
Exactly.
Make sure that you don't do things that will come back at you, affect your immigration status in the future. Yeah, everything that you do, one day.
Definitely. Okay, before you go, I forgot to ask this. With the Hungary scholarship,
Yeah.
I believe it was based on merits. And
Yeah.
was there a cutoff point in terms of GPA or class that you were supposed to get before you gain
I
acceptance?
think as at that time, they were looking out for some courses, right? You should be, I think you should be in an area that will be a benefit like to the country, Ghana, right? So if I remember, most of them has to do in area of STEM, that is a science, technology, maths, and in that area, yes. So that was what they were looking out for. But as I said, you can't have bad class, bad GP, and then go for some of these things. I know exceptions are there, right? Exceptions are there, but it should be a cause that will be benefit like to the country, not just anything that you go and do that. I mean, if we can do that same thing in Ghana, why do we have to even give it that opportunity?
Definitely. Okay, so you've heard it all from our guest. He has given us very, very informative experience. And I believe that you watching, you take a nugget or two from this interview. But hey, do not forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button for more of such educative interviews. And also remember to share to another person who is looking to explore some of these study abroad journey. Thank you very much, Raymond, for handling our invitation. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Manasseh. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, our viewers. We draw the curtains here. Catch you another time. Don't forget to subscribe to Mana Inspire and receive inspiring episodes every week. Thank you very much.